Hi everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the 30-day no sugar challenge. This is where we're going to talk about grains, or getting rid of the grains from our diet. People usually want to argue this one with me and say that surely it's okay to eat whole grains, right? And I said no, absolutely not. It's not okay to eat whole grains. It's not okay to eat any grains if you want to have good blood sugar control, if you want to maintain a good diet. Sure, there are people that are eating some grains that can do that, but they are usually people that are getting away with it for now, and then they're getting sick down the line. Or they might be on a very low calorie diet so that the total amount that they're taking in is very low. However, if you want to have good blood sugar control and you want to get rid of your cravings that you have because of these insulin spikes and this whole roller coaster that we get when we're eating sugar, you really need to cut the grains out as well. And I'm going to show you why. If you haven't heard about the glycemic index, it's a measure of how quickly a food item or a certain amount of food raises your blood sugar. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the glycemic index because there is a lot of variability between different people. However, it could be a good thing to know about, and it will give you an indication of how quickly a food could potentially raise your blood sugar and what it does in most people. Doesn't mean that it does it for you necessarily, but I would just assume that it's not good for you anyway. So I'm going to show you here. So here are a few numbers that I pulled out that you might be interested in. So mashed potatoes, for example. So all of these numbers are compared to pure glucose. So if you have glucose in a liquid form and you drink it, then you will have a glycemic index of 100. That is the baseline. So mashed potatoes, for example, has 87, which means that it's pretty close to liquid glucose. It means that when you're eating mashed potatoes, your blood sugar will rise really quickly, and as a result of that, you will get a lot of insulin released, and you will store that glucose hopefully very quickly, and then your blood glucose will drop and you will get hungry. So you will get all these blood sugar swings, and you will get cravings, you will want to eat more food and so on, and you're on this roller coaster that we want to avoid. Cornflakes isn't much better. We have boiled potatoes, 78, and here is the very interesting part that I always tell people when they want to argue with me, that whole wheat or wholemeal bread is much better than normal white bread. It really isn't. White bread, 75, whole wheat, 74. There's literally no difference. Statistically, I doubt that there is any difference at all. White rice, very, very close. Brown rice, getting closer to, getting down a little bit. But then we have table sugar. So if you ate pure sugar, the crystallized sugar that we call sugar, you have a GI, or glycemic index, of 65. So this is better for blood glucose control than everything above it on this list. And then you have French fries, which most people love. Very close to eating pure table sugar. So there you go. Personally, I think this is interesting, and however, what I want you to consider is the total amount of carbs as well. Because if we're eating more carbs than we need, which is pretty much almost any carbs, some people need a little bit, some people need a little bit more or feel better doing it, but we can produce it ourselves. So if you eat too much of it, you're going to get more health consequences, and you're obviously going to get more insulin release if the total amount of carbohydrates is higher. So we want to kind of avoid that. So there's another measure. I don't have time to talk about that. I think I'm going to go over the 5 minutes today anyway, but it's called glycemic load. So that shows you how much from a normal serving, how much your blood glucose goes up from a normal serving of a certain type of food. So when you look at the list that I just put up it's like asking for having an injection of diabetes. So please don't do that. So get rid of all your grains from your diet. And I've just made a little list here for you that you can have a look at. So that would be wheat, rice, barley, oats, millet, corn, buckwheat, rye, amaranth, quinoa, sorghum, teff. And for good measure, just get rid of the potatoes as well, although technically they aren't grains. So I might have missed some, but the point is that you want to get rid of pretty much anything that is starchy. So go low carb, your insulin will stabilize, and you will feel so much better for doing that. You will get rid of the physiological cravings that you are having, and it will be easy to stay away from the sugar. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with everyone you know who needs to quit sugar, and I will see you again tomorrow.